Okay, once we have found the exit, we're now back on the road back in our vehicle, and now we have to find the shop in order to buy the arena pass. Thankfully, there's another shop. There's at least 2 of them in each of the road areas. So we already stopped at one to get fuel. We're going to be stopping at the other one right near the arena in order to buy the pass. Even though while traveling the road you're going to get hit by at least 1 or 2 of the dynamite that gets thrown from either other vehicles or from the towers, don't worry too much. Thankfully it doesn't do a whole lot of damage to you. At the top of this road is our shop, which we can buy our arena pass. Of course, if you have some extra supplies from traveling to any of the other caves, or if you're really low on health and you desperately need, you can actually buy health from the shops as well. Now that we do have our arena pass, it's time to head to the second of the arena levels. Watch out for the dynamite as best as possible, as well as the different amounts of oil sitting in the road. And once we make it over this jump, let's now head up into the arena. The second arena is obviously harder than the first one. It now contains 40 enemies, as well as the location of the exit is on the upper right side of the screen. Once again, if this is your first time doing the arena level, I highly suggest heading towards the exit first, so you get a good idea of where it's located before battling it out with the cars. Also, in case you're wondering how many other vehicles are left at any time, you can pause the game, and after your status screen, which shows you all your supplies, you can actually look at the amount of vehicles that are currently left in the arena. After you think you've defeated them all, of course, you can head towards the exit if you're already there. If the exit opens up, then you know all the cars have been defeated, so you don't always have to check on it unless you feel like knowing exactly how many you have left. Just like the first arena, the cars are just as easy as they were. Just bump them a couple of times if you want to get them into certain pits, or just let them drive around themselves and they should eventually all fall into the pits as well. The hardest part about the second arena, though, is the fact that your fuel is going to probably run out the first time you attempt to do this level. You can defeat all the cars and get to the exit before you run out of fuel in this one if you're very good and very precise on getting the cars in the hole. Unlike the third arena, where I haven't been able to figure out how to defeat all the cars quick enough in order to get to the exit without running out of fuel. Be very careful trying to stay away from the edges while the other vehicles are coming towards you. In an area like I am currently, there is a solid wall on the left of me, so I can use that to my advantage as well to try to bump other cars into the different pits and holes. You can also defeat the cars by bumping into them a few times. You keep ramming them a couple times, they will eventually explode, but that will take away a lot of damage from you as well since you are running into them. You can always tell when you're getting low on health when your car starts to deteriorate. This is easily one of the more boring parts I've seen in a game on the NES. It's just you and waiting for all the cars to come towards you so you can knock them into the opening pits or knock them into the big open areas. There's only so many different ways you can knock these cars and see them explode, so after a long time you're probably going to get very, very bored with it. Always be sure to keep an eye on your fuel gauge so you know how much fuel you have left and whether or not you need to head towards the exit. You can also see now at this point, this is what the car looks like when you've lost a lot of health. Now thankfully all the cars have been defeated, but I'm almost out of fuel, so now I gotta really hurry in order to find the exit in order to escape this level. Thankfully, I do know where the exit is, and I should be able to make it without running out of fuel. Even though the fuel looks like it's at the very bottom, you do have at least a few seconds left when the fuel is at its very lowest point before you'll end up running out of fuel and losing a life. After cutting that level very, very close, we now get another password and we move on to the third and final of the road stages. As you can see, it starts off in the same area, though the layouts of the road, the caves, the shops, and the arena are in different places once again. In this stage, the biggest difference is that each of the caves contains a crossbow. The crossbow is used in the final boss battle. You get 48 shots for every crossbow you pick up. If you don't pick up extra crossbows, you're only going to have a limited amount of shots. Even if you hit every one of those shots, it still won't be enough to actually defeat the boss, so you gotta make sure you pick up at least 2 of the crossbows. That'll give you plenty of ammo in order to defeat the boss. If you want to collect all the crossbows, of course you can by traveling to all 4 of the caves in the level, but you're only gonna need probably 2 of them at most in order to defeat it. Unlike the second level though, we won't have to actually buy fuel from the shop. We'll be able to get some extra fuel from the actual caves that I go to. This will be plenty of fuel in order to reach the arena and the shops at the end. Of course, being the third and final level, the caves are very confusing with a lot of different paths, as well as a lot of dead-end doors that lead you into nothing. There should be plenty of keys to find around these different caves in order to open most of the doors, so you don't have to be extremely careful, but it's best not to waste any keys. Any keys you have left over you'll be able to use in other caves. Right there though, you saw that I grabbed the crossbow, which is our most important item that we could get from this cave. Once we've collected all the items, we head back out to the road, and now we're going to head to the second cave. We see the shop, but we're going to pass that one and continue on, blowing up this big pile of rocks and continuing down the road. Once we make a right on this road, we'll see a bus in the lower right corner, and behind that is the second cave. In this cave, before exploring, head straight all the way up and you'll find 3 keys which will be very useful exploring this cave. Just like all the other caves, avoid the enemies by sidestepping or shooting anyone that gets you stuck in any area. Collect all the amount of supplies that you can while traveling through. Once you've found the crossbow and have enough supplies in order to buy the arena pass, you can then leave and go and head towards the shop and then the arena. This particular cave has a lot of supplies, enough that we'll be able to buy the arena pass, as well as there's a lot of keys to find to open all the doors within it. Now that I have everything from the top portion of the cave, I'm going to head to the south area, which is where the crossbow is located. Just grabbing that. Now I have to grab just a few extra little bit of supplies before I'm able to head out of this cave and head towards the shop. This easily has to be one of the most repetitive games out there on the NES, besides just an arcade game that would loop after a few levels. You'd think with a license like Mad Max they could have at least done a little bit more gameplay. Maybe some more gun gameplay, or at least do some different things with the driving sequences altogether. While this is not the worst licensed game by far, it's just way too repetitive. Now that I have all the supplies from the cave, time to head towards the exit. Back on the road now, time to head towards the shop to buy the arena pass. Be careful while going over those big jumps in order to make sure you have enough speed, or else you'll fall into it and lose a life there. Or if you jump over the gap and land directly on top of another vehicle, you'll explode and end up losing a life that way. So be very careful with those jumps. can see, thankfully, because of that extra fuel that we picked up inside the caves, I do have plenty in order to make it to the arena itself. Down this road, we head up into the shop, go to the goods, buy the arena pass once again, just like we have in the previous 2 levels, and then it's back to the road, and now we're heading towards the arena. Thankfully, finding the arena is not too difficult. It's actually pretty close to the shop.